We do have a quorum. I'd like to call to order. Everybody, please stand and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Quit taking the drugs. All righty. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see a crowd out here tonight. We don't have much on the agenda, and we got people here. When we got something on the agenda, we ain't got nobody. I guess that's a good thing. I'd like to open up for public comments. So this is your opportunity to speak to council, congratulate us on work well done, or bless us out for something we did wrong. But anyhow, I'd like to open it up. Public comments is open. Please state your name and your address when you come up.
Can you turn that microphone on, Tina? Sorry.
Is it on now? Should I start over? I'm Tina Gamble. I live at 122 Lakewood Road, Bowling Green, Virginia. Last November, I informed our former town manager of a dangerous situation in our sidewalks in an intersection in town. I was told at that time that VDOT would be notified and the situation would be rectified. 2 months later, January of this year, 2021, it still had not been done. I again contacted the town manager, and she said that VDOT would be reviewing the sidewalks in town and that the situation would be taken care of. March of 2021, this situation still was not taken care of. I saw Mr. Sean Fortune on Main Street and asked him for a safety cone, the orange triangle safety cones, VDOT cone, so that we could put it over this offending area and nobody would get hurt. That cone stayed there until Harvest Festival, and it was removed and put back in the beer garden. This situation is still there 1 year later. It has not been taken care of. If I could give this to Ms. Davis and pass this around. I took some pictures. At the intersections, because of the Americans with Disability Acts, they reconfigured how sidewalk entrances are at streets. There's a gradual curb. There are mats put down. I apologize. I did download the system itself and I couldn't find it. I was trying to get out of the house. But it is a mat system. When they put the concrete in, there are anchors that are put in. The mat is affixed to the top of these anchors. It is designed so that if there is an issue, the mats can be changed out so that you don't have to tear up the sidewalk. If the concrete was not poured properly and the anchors were not affixed properly, it could cause the issue that you will see in these photographs. I respectfully ask that town council address this. This is dangerous. You can look at the pictures and see how very dangerous that this situation can be. I don't want to see us have a negligent lawsuit. I think that giving our town government a year to get this situation rectified has been more than generous on my behalf. And I respectfully ask that you have VDOT look at this and rectify this situation as soon as possible.
Mr. Mayor, may I respond? I'm Andrea Erard, and we don't control VDOT. And I am 100% certain that the town has communicated with VDOT. It would be helpful if you also called VDOT. Sometimes we get a better response from VDOT when a citizen calls. And it would be a state liability. I mean, I don't want anybody to get hurt, so the
Right.
liability is not the big thing, but I just want to make it clear that we have no control. We don't own the land. It's,
I understand that, but I know that VDOT attends these meetings on occasion. I've seen them here.
yes,
So I thought this would be the venue to bring it up to.
yes, yeah.
I would respectfully ask until they do fix it, that a traffic cone be put back on that area so that nobody gets injured. Thank you.
And please call VDOT.
I will. Thank
Okay.
you.
Mhm.
Thank-
Well, you said that intersection, is it at Lakewood and Broadus, or is it on Main
No,
Street?
it's in the picture. You can see
See
it's
Main
on
Street?
Main Street.
Okay,
It's right next to the Snip and Trim.
yeah, I recognize that, but then I was confused. I thought
And,
it mentioned the intersection.
My husband and I took pictures. You can see how
Yeah.
my foot can easily go underneath of the corner. And I put my hand under there because we were trying to get a picture to see if it was the mat that was faulty or if it was the concrete itself that had been mispoured and installed incorrectly.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you, Tina.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I know we do. So who's going to be next? All right, ladies.
So, good evening, Mayor Gaines, council members. My name is Maria Luz Moreno Badia, and I'm joined today with Mrs. Kimberly Young. I live in the old mansion, 200 South Main Street in Bowling Green, at the end just of the town. And Miss Kimberly Young, she is the Caroline County Public Schools Communication and Community Engagement Specialist. And let me also, since some of you do not know us, let me also introduce my husband, Nobuo Yoshida, who is also kind of like me, a proud Bowling Green resident. We are here this evening because we wanted to thank you for the opportunity of considering partnering with us, the Caroline County Public Schools, Rappahannock Electric, the Caroline County Education Foundation on the proposed all mansion tree illumination. And I wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you about how this event fit into our long partnership, the partnership between the town of Bowling Green and the old mansion. And I will ask for your indulgence because I wanted to tell you a bit of a story. This is not about a long history. This is about the story of the people of our beloved town. Over the last number of years, I have been very fortunate to meet complete strangers, some in their early 90s, eager to share with me their fond memories of the old mansion. They were very happy that for the first time in many decades, our doors were open and that they were able to enjoy a place that was very close to their hearts, thanks to the wine festival sponsored by the town of Bowling Green. Many kids have played in our grounds while learning about our rich history in the midst of the pandemic, thanks to the summer enrichment programs that you have helped organize. And many local business owners have approached me to praise the town for your efforts in promoting events at the old mansion that attracted not only people within Caroline County, but beyond, and created economic opportunities for them. So through this partnership, you have made all of that happen. And that was basically the reason that we came up with the tree illumination idea. The objective was not just to celebrate together the festive season in a year that probably all of us want to leave behind, given what we have all been going through. It was also an opportunity to incorporate our local history into the students' learning experiences. It was an opportunity to create community cooperation and partnerships. And it was very important for Nobuo and I because it was a way to share the old mansion grounds with Caroline County residents. So we approached the town, and in approaching the town, what we were looking for was two things: logistical support and insurance coverage for the event, using the umbrella policy that the town has. This was basically what has been done in the past for the wine festival, and it doesn't have any additional budgetary implication for the town. Now, we understand that through conversations with the town manager, that at this stage, the town is unable to provide support for the event for the 2021 season. But I'm here because I do hope that we will continue our fruitful collaboration in the new year. And I also have very good news to you because you are talking to two true Southern ladies. So we are actually moving ahead with a revised plan. And we wanted to invite you to join us. And at this point, Mrs. Yan is going to share with you how our vision has been maintained when at the same time we are pivoting towards the Bowling Green Holiday Parade. So now she will explain you.
Good evening, Mayor Gaines and Town Council. I'm Kimberly Young, as she stated. I actually live in 9820 Gunston Hall Road in Fredericksburg, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to read. I'm not quite as prepared and eloquent as she is. So, as Mayor Lou stated, CCPS is pleased that an alternate plan has been devised, which achieves many of the previously mentioned objectives. To spotlight how rich the planning has been, art teachers held a professional development event at the Old Mansion to learn about the property's history, view the cedar tree, and plan student ornaments and garland focusing on resilience and perseverance. A $1,000 grant was secured from the Caroline Education Foundation to pay for ornament supplies. REC will be hanging and removing the student ornaments from Old Mansion property. And finally, the Old Mansion has supported the inclusion of local history into the art curriculum. While the previously proposed illumination event will not occur this year at the Old Mansion as planned, CCPS and the Old Mansion, as she stated, quickly shifted into Plan B. We are excited to draw your attention to the flyer, which outlines the school division's annual participation in the Bowling Green Parade. This year's float will be themed a CCPS Winter Wonderland at the Old Mansion and will incorporate our students' ornaments and garland. At the conclusion of the parade, all ornaments will be transferred to the Old Mansion. REC will meet CCPS and Mary Lou's on Monday, December 13th to hang the ornaments that will adorn the cedar tree along 301. The tree will be lit by the Old Mansion on December 13th through January the 3rd. We invite you to drive by the tree during this time and celebrate our local history, our students' talented work, and the valuable partners in education. We look forward to working with you on our future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. That's very nice. Anybody else care to speak? Hearing none, seeing none. Last call. Let's close public comments. Moving on, member comments. Members of council have anything they'd like to add, say? This is your time.
I do. I would like to know, how can we help you that just spoke about this History on Parade? I think it's fabulous, and we definitely need to support our community and our educational system in doing this. So how, as a council, how can we help you guys?
So obviously, the first thing I want is that everybody in this town council and everybody in town to actually join us in the parade. And I think that you will see as you drive into town, that tree, we have set up a new illumination system. So as you drive into town at night, you will see that tree. And that tree, it's only going to be illuminated during the holidays. So the only time that you're going to see, you probably see at night sometimes the property is illuminated. But the only time that that tree will be illuminated is during the holidays. So of course, I encourage you to drive by. But I do think that for us, this is an opportunity to start having an engagement to prepare for next year. Um, I think, as I mentioned before, for my husband and I, it's very important to share our beautiful property with Caroline County residents because we understand how important it is for the community. So the reason why we wanted to engage with you and get the insurance, etc., was to make it possible for everybody in town to look at the tree up close. And the reason that for us the tree was such an important symbol is because every single kid in the county is going to be involved in the production of those ornaments. So this is a tree that belongs to all of you because all of you, one way or another, are represented in that tree because you have like a niece or a son or a cousin, somebody, a kid that has actually been part of that tree. So for us, it was very important to give the opportunity to residents to look at it up close. Now they will basically drive and look at it. And I think there is still, during the parade, they will have also maybe kind of some opportunities to look at some of these ornaments in the float. But we hope that next year, you will be kind of like our very strong advocates and actually kind of like work with us to make this happen. Because I do think that it will be a great opportunity for all the community to come together. And when I talk about all the community, it's not just people in town, but also the whole county. You cannot imagine, I have talked about this event for the last 2.5 years. We have been installing the lights, talking to many people. But also, I have been talking to people in different parts of the county, in the west part of the county, and they told me, you know, Maria Luz, this is a great opportunity for us to visit, and we never go there. I said, you should, because it's such a wonderful place. I have even talked to people from outside the county that they were actually kind of planning to come on the original date of the event, from Prince George, from kind of like even all the way from DC to just see this event. And the reason why is because people understand that in a place like this, it's really special because everybody comes together. I think that all of you have shown during the pandemic that has been really hard. And I think all members of the community have been supportive of each other. And this was yet another way of demonstrating the richness and the big heart of this community. So I really very much appreciate your support in trying to find a way. I think that for me, it's spread the word, kind of like a drive-by, and let's just start working together early in the year for the second holiday illumination event. And I don't know whether you have anything to add.
I was just going to add that the float itself, we've gotten the grant to cover the cost of the ornaments. What we're looking to do now is that we had a tree before. Now we need to sort of replicate that on the float. So we're looking for some donations, and I think we've gotten some to try to do some things to decorate the float with. And we're going to be handing out postcards that explain the history of the old mansion and the partnerships that we have. So we really want to sort of segue that into what we were planning to do originally. But thank you so much for your
I
support.
have one question before you leave. Are the homeschool children included in this?
I would have to check. I think most of the ornaments are being done in the classrooms, but it's possible that our directors of education have reached out, but we certainly can follow up.
They would be eligible if they wanted to.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
I mean, we're going to have a lot of ornaments, but the more the merrier. So thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I say something? I'd just like to add that it was staff time that I said we were not able to do for the event, but certainly I cannot speak for council on any monetary contribution.
Gotcha, thanks. Yeah, I mean, events, as we all know, are planned by council, especially if we put any support into it as far as personnel, insurance, money, time, planner. So, I mean, but I praise y'all as private landowners and citizens of this town to put stuff on. It is great. That's what makes the town also, is when you have citizens that stand up and put their foot forward and put things on. You know, the town backs you and supports you. And if there's anything that can be done, I don't think that, council would deny, very much. But the town is doing good, and it's people like y'all who show an interest and are stepping up really makes a big difference. So I applaud y'all for that. Thank you very much. Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm grateful for you all coming out as well, and I commend the changes that you made and look forward to seeing it. Thank you for continuing the communication with us, and yeah, really hopeful to see what we can try to come up with for next year. And as for Tina, thanks for bringing that up. I have to echo what they said about VDOT, of course, but I also want to echo about what they said about VDOT as far as you and anybody else wants to call them. That adds up. Thanks.
If I could just add that the town goes through a budget cycle. It's getting ready to start. It's then completed in the late spring or by June. And so if there are other events for next year, it would be helpful to talk to the town manager and to council to kind of, so that we could allocate for it.
I just want to echo and say that, in my opinion, there's nothing more important than our educational system. I'm a nurse, so I got to throw our first responders in that too. But really, I am a strong, a supporter of the educational system, and anybody that supports our educational system, thank you so much, because our children are the most important assets that we have in this county. And I do not have any children that go to Caroline County Public School, but I have several grandchildren. My daughter is a teacher, my daughter-in-law is a teacher, and that is our future. So as a council, I hope that we all can always remember that we need to do everything we can. And thank you so much for all that. You guys are very generous at the old mansion. I've lived here 20 years, and you guys have probably been some of the warmest, hospitable owners of that historic property. And thank you so much.
Okay. So thanks again for your very warm support. It really means a lot to us. And all with you, I have always said that the future of the county is our kids. And that's the reason why I wanted them to actually experience the old mansion. Because if they love it, just only like a fifth of how much I love that property, even way after I'm gone, they will make sure that it remains the treasure that it is for this town. So for us, this is not just about today or the next 50 years, it's about all future generations, and you are absolutely right. I think that it's really great that you are actually kind of like telling us about how the budget process works, because obviously we are not very familiar, and definitely we will engage with you earlier. I just want to clarify that, of course, I'm an economist by training, and I would say that I'm very fiscally conservative, so I'm very much aware of budget constraints, and we don't want to impose a burden on the town. And that's the reason why when we organize the wine festival, the proceeds go to cover the cost of town, and then basically kind of like when there are profits, we actually kind of like donate those to the Caroline County Education Foundation. So I'm very much conscious, and there are really big priorities that you need to address. What I do think is that there is a scope for some of these partnerships to be done with very limited cost to the town. And I think that I must say that you have like an amazing event organizing, Joelsa Jordan. If we in the old mansion have been able to undertake the summer enrichment programs, the wine festivals, like the 20,000 ideas that we're working on, is in part because you have somebody like her that is very invested in this town. She really believes in this town, and I think that this is a reason why we have been able to kind of like do a lot of things that would not have been possible without her. Now, I understand that she has like a lot of constraints on her time because she's in high demand since she does so many things. But what I would say is that let's just try to work together to see how we can create that space with minimal impact for the functioning of the town priorities, but still also creating these opportunities for engagement. Again, for us, what is important is to work with you, that you provide an input, and that we design the type of events that people in the community can enjoy, but also that create economic opportunities for the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other council members got anything they want to talk about or say? All right, hearing none, go to staff reports. I'm sorry, Gene, I didn't hear you.
Yes, I would like to thank staff, and in particular, I was there when the rain came at 3 o'clock, and chief of police was right there in the middle. He got wet trying to help people. I think they all did a great job. And Allison was there, which normally we have not had this. I think we're very blessed.
Yeah, I left before the rain hit, and I did see it come down. It was pretty bad. Chief, thank you. Allison, thank you for being there, and everybody else too. All right.
Thank you. It's a remarkable staff.
As I hear it, it was very good, and big turnout, and staff really did a great job. So, all right, moving on to staff reports now. Public Works and Utilities. Anybody have any question for Josh? All right, Josh, you have anything new to add? Oh, how's the meters and stuff going? That's what you can do.
So currently, I believe they have just under 300 left to replace,
Okay.
to swap out, not including the larger meters, which they have to order. So it's making pretty good progress. So I apologize for any inconvenience that's caused any citizens. Thank you to Joe also for helping post, what streets they'll be working on. The only other things I have to add is leaf collection has started. I just asked that, so our leaf vac can only pick up just leaves, so no sticks, no rocks, no trash, and then they be put on the curb next to the street because the hose is only but so long, so we can't come into someone's driveway or across the ditch. They need to be on the edge of the street. One last thing, the reason why my section is so big, the preliminary engineering report for the sewer upgrade that's come back, I tried to email it out, but it was too large. So that's in there. I'm gonna get with Allison to put it on the agenda for the December town council meeting and have the engineers from Dewberry here to present that. So a little background on it. The previous town manager and director of public works and utilities, I believe was Reese and Billy. They got a search grant from the USDA to pay for the engineering report. So this is the draft of it. And this is what came of it. So it's not something we're definitely moving forward with. It was just a grant they got to go over the sewer as far as like the wastewater plant, the sewer lines, the lift stations and things like that. So if you guys, look it over, if you have any questions, just let me know, Allison know, Judy Tracy, and I'll put them all together and email them to the engineer. So that way he can answer them next month for y'all.
I have one question. Have you got anything on the gates yet?
Sorry,
I'm so worried.
No, you're fine. So I have a price on the gate and the actuator, the equipment part. Installation, it's been hard to get someone to come and like physically look at it. I do know the one lady that we were in contact with, unfortunately, she was in an accident. So that kind of delayed it. So we're trying to work around that. So we're trying to stay in contact, but it just seems like it's hard to find people to come out and give quotes and look. So, but we are still working on it.
Thank you.
What kind of grants are available for the expansion?
So with this engineering report, at first we looked at an expansion, but it wasn't. We found that
Upgrade then.
So it would be similar to the water project that's going on now, as far as like a grant loan package. That's something we would have to speak with Cindy at the USDA with. And that's something we'll do to just see what the town needs to do as far as applying and what's available.
Anybody else for Josh?
I guess I had one. And it may be in here somewhere, but I was just trying to find it. This does take into the consideration the, I guess, contract that we have in place with Caroline County on their sewer that comes to the town, correct?
Yeah, so it involves like the current flow and then takes in their share of it as far as like what the town would need. And then, so currently, it doesn't call for an expansion just because when they looked at everything, we kind of discussed everything, there was no growth. There was no projected growth as far as like actual developments. So that the engineering report can change. So if that's something that comes up, it could be changed to include an expansion of it.
I guess the thing that I would look at is just make sure that we collaborate with Caroline with the potential that they may fulfill their portion that they have treated at the town back on themselves within the future, like say 5 years from now, if they start treating their own that they have contracted through us. It may open up space for us capacity.
Yeah, well, they got that contract with us right now that they get, I forget how many thousand gallons and at a set cheap rate. And I think that subdivision out there will equal that, won't it?
So right now, their capacity is at 45,000 gallons per day.
Mhm.
If they want to go over that, they would have to come back to the town for approval.
Right.
So that not only includes that Brookwood subdivision, but it includes
Maury.
the Governor's School and the community service building out there.
Okay.
Brookwood, based off the calculations of how many homes are going to be out there, would actually put them over that limit.
Right. Yeah, so they'll have to come back and renegotiate. But the engineering study you got is to replace and improve the existing equipment that we have there now and to expand our capabilities without having to expand the plant. Is that not right?
So the engineering report right now just includes the upgrade of the sewer lines that need to be replaced, backup emergency generators at the lift stations, and then updating the older equipment because the plant is 30 years old now.
Right.
Some of the equipment has been updated, but what's in the engineering report hasn't, so that takes into account updating it. There's no expansion, so our capacity is going to stay the same with this engineering report. So if that's something so as far as like the capacity increasing, if that's something we need to look at, we can.
Well, I thought that's why we were doing and study was to enhance the equipment like different UV lights and whatnot so that we can increase the capacity because we're able to treat it quicker without having to expand the plant. Wasn't that what it was initially done for? I think back when Reese and Billy, and then when you came on, or if not, did it change or what?
So the engineering report was to look at all of it, not just increasing capacity. It was to look at if it was needed. And like Mr. Hooley said, if the county ends up not needing theirs, that would free it up, which would then we would definitely not need to upgrade the capacity. And that's what we kind of decided that this time it wasn't needed as far as like upgrading the capacity, but it was still looking at the sewer mains that are failing, lift stations, and still the failing equipment at the plant that like DEQ's mentioned, and it's outdated. So as far as like finding like parts, maintenance, things like that, that's what the whole thing was. I think at first they were looking at capacity as well in it, but then with no growth, it wasn't needed.
Okay, then 301 has sewer lines out there that we spent millions of dollars to put out there. Is any certain capacity number included in for the 301 for our plant, or is that not included?
So it took into account like the current flow, and then based off of what the growth would be projected, and that's what was included, and was the engineers found that at this time it was not needed to upgrade.
Okay, so in other words, 301 does have a projected number then.
Based off of population growth. So I mean, if something
well, if we base it off our population growth, then we don't have anything out there.
And that was kind of one of the things that was taken into account, rather than something like 301 where it was put out there and the town spent the money and it's not being used. We didn't want to spend the money to upgrade the plant when it wouldn't be used. So we didn't want to waste the money.
No, I understand that. But I just wanting to know because Caroline's building. And we're taking theirs in, and we can't even provide for our own. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is 301, because we're looking at 2 projects out there now, or at least 2 of them coming up. And I need to know if the town is able to treat the water.
So the town is able to treat the water, and if there's growth, that's why the engineering report can change. So if that's needed, then we'll go back and, revise. This is just a draft. It's not the final report.
Thank you, Josh. Anybody else? All right. Police Department staff report. Anybody have anything, questions for the chief on his great job catching these speeders in town?
Yeah, I just have one quick question. I'm assuming the 70 summonses, parking tickets include speeding tickets? So in August, you had 39, in September 33, in October here 70. Can we attribute the doubling to our new radar equipment? Or is there some other reason that it's
No.
double?
No, it's volume of traffic. I mean, it's just what we were able to catch. I mean, it's no set number. It's out there, and it was a high volume of traffic this month, so.
Okay.
Else have anything for the chief? Well, Chief, I'd like to thank you for keep up the good work, and thank you for keeping everybody safe at the fall festival, helping out with that. Keep up the good work, I guess. Thank you, sir. Community economic, Joe Elsa, anybody have any questions for her or anything you'd like to say?
Oh, good job on the Harvest Festival.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you, Councilman Voigt. You'll notice on my staff report, kind of laid out a lot of what occurred with Harvest Festival. You may be most interested in the attachment, the first attachment in my report, which shows that we broke even on the event. And so you all should be relieved to know that all costs were covered based on our revenue streams. The meals tax that we've collected was as of 10/28. Our deadline is November 20th to receive those. At that point, I'll be getting with our town treasurer to see who, if anyone, is delinquent on that. And then we'll take things from there. I've also attached an estimate for the 2 billboard signs on either end of town for to have those refaced. That's just for your reference. I know that there's been talk about that. And I just heads up that the 2021 Bowling Green Christmas Parade of Lights registration form is posted on our website, and we are actively getting registration forms in. I have heard some talk about some concern about the expense of what the town spends or what is spent out of the Christmas parade budget on Santa Claus and the horse-drawn carriage. So I am looking and asking for direction from town council on how you would like for me to handle Santa Claus at the Christmas parade this year. I need to get an answer sooner than later. Santa Clauses go quick this time of year. I'd be happy to maybe send you all an email and get some feedback that way. Councilman Hooley, I'd love to speak with you about a possible collaboration with the fire department. I understand that someone from the fire department would have to be on the fire truck for insurance and liability purposes. So maybe that's something that you and I can talk offline about. But I am looking for feedback and direction on that.
Are you asking if we want to have a Santa or have a Santa on I like the idea of Santa on a fire truck, which is really cool. So that's,
thank you.
That's me.
So I have a quick question before you leave. How many vendors did you have at the Harvest Festival that will actually pay meals tax? Because some of them don't. Do you know a rough estimate?
All of our food vendors are required, with the exception of nonprofit food vendors, all of our food vendors are required to pay a meals tax. So I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head how many off the top of my head, but I can get that information for you.
You just drop me a line if you don't mind.
Certainly.
Curious to see how many food vendors we have. And on your banner, on the billboard thing, is there any discussion about the lights, or did you notice the lights are there? I'm sure they're lit up billboards, but I mean, if they're that long ago, maybe we want to look at some LED lights or something more.
Sure. You know, to be honest, Councilwoman Gaines, I went out there on foot and took photos and whatnot to give to sign companies, to the sign company for the estimate. And I don't recall seeing any lights.
At the bottom, and I think it shines up on the.
I think LED or something solar powered or something is a great suggestion.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Joelle, so again, great job on Harvest Festival. We had
Thank
a really
you.
good time. Just two little things. Is it possible on your attachment to get an Excel spreadsheet that just lays out everything, like sponsors, who they were, how much they gave, who gave the pumpkins, who this, and then once you're go over with Tracy to determine, just so we can see exactly where money came in, that kind of thing. Like the vendor fees, does that include vendors who canceled, vendors who didn't show up?
Correct.
So if you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
lay that out so we know who didn't show and just get an idea so that as you move forward, you can figure those additions out. And the other thing, did you get any more RFPs for the sign or
So-
just this one?
So interestingly, I went on Google to look for sign companies, and the first three numbers that I called, well, the first two numbers I called, I was answered by a gal named Rachel on both different numbers, different sign companies. And on the third call, Rachel answered again with a different sign company. And so I
around.
said to her, I said, "Did I just call you?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I'm trying to get competitive quotes." And I was informed that Sign Enterprises has bought out every sign company within a 100-mile radius.
Oh, wow. Okay, good for Rachel.
So I did attempt to get competitive
thank you.
quotes, but
I can get with you after I got a couple I can just give out and you can reach out to if you'd like. I should say I know of a couple of local companies around the area
okay,
that I can pass along the information.
great. That would be
No problem.
great.
Titan Signs, one of them.
Someone
Yeah.
said we got
Yeah,
another one.
see? I have one question. How many people how many people do you think we had there?
At the Harvest
Yes,
Festival,
ma'am.
It's really impossible to give a
Just
good estimate there.
Throw a number.
Just because I don't know. We typically estimate anywhere between 10 and 12,000 people
Okay.
at the event,
All right.
but truly there's no way of really knowing
Okay.
because we don't do an admission. You know, it's
Right,
not
I
an admission
understand.
event.
That's fine. All right, down here, revenues, you got meals tax as of 10/28, $370. If 2,000 people bought food, the average price is $10 or more. That's $1,200 in meals tax right there. So that's just 2,000 people. If we had 10,000 people visit, that's what I'm saying. We've got to come up with a better way to gauge our meals tax because we are losing big time. We need to look at possibly approaching these vendors before they shut down, halfway between the day, something, and have them pay then. Because when they go home, they're out of mind, out of sight. They're going to turn in what they want. And we losing a whole lot.
That would really be something that the treasurer would do.
Right.
Yeah.
And Caroline County does it at the state fair and stuff. They catch them, give out, because that's 12 grand just off of 2,000 people. I'd tell you more than that, 8.
Mr. Mayor,
So-
I did talk to the Commissioner of the Revenue about that specific issue, and he did provide some ways that we could potentially capture more of an accurate number, so
We need to look into it, because
yeah.
that's just way too much money that's escaping us. I mean, and we're not even charging them that much for a vendor spot. You know, they're not getting much more than a regular vendor. What are they paying? $275 up to sit there? Food vendor. What are they paying for their spot?
175 for a professional food vendor.
See, and they're not even paying much there. So we're
Most
losing.
of them get 2 spaces, so they're paying $325. Is
Yeah.
that right?
And they're making $20,000-$30,000 in a day, and they're not even giving us meals tax hardly. So
Has that
this is something we
always
need to
been the
look at.
rate? Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Has that always been the rates on the spaces, or have they gone up since you've been here?
The rates have never gone up since I've been here.
Need to look at that then.
Anybody else? I'm sorry.
Um,
Anybody else?
I mean, I think the weather was great. It was a great for the town, and thank you, Joelsa. As a local business owner, it was great for my business too. So thank you.
Yeah, Joey sold a lot of pictures. He had a lot of people come in there. And I know you were outside too and sold and inside as well. Yeah, it was good. It was a great event. I won't deny that. It turned out great. Thank you, Joel. It was really good.
It was awesome,
We just need
and
to
then it
work on it.
was awesome in a different way the last couple minutes.
Yeah.
There were quite a few of us that were leaping in the air, pulling down everybody's canopies to keep them from blowing away, but can't get everything. But yeah,
No.
it was fun.
Well,
Great.
thank you all very much for your support. It's a very large event that takes everyone, takes a large community of volunteers and support of our council, our leaders here. And so I've always said, this is certainly not a me event, it's an us event. And it takes everyone to be a part of it to make it successful. So while I appreciate the compliments, I'd like to give those back to our community for making it a great event.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Next, town clerk, treasurer's monthly report. Anybody have any questions for Tracy? Tracy, do you have anything to report to us?
No, other than what's in the report. If anybody has any questions.
On the new software system, did we get that all taken care of? Is that, we got all the modules we need? And
We did have a conference call with Judd, who is with Keystone. He has presented us with a contract according to what we've requested. I have forwarded that contract to the town attorney for review
okay,
and begging her, please, 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 to get back with us as soon as she can. We would like to go forward with this. Judd also said that if things go in line as they are right now, that hopefully that we can get started in April.
did they add fixed assets on that module?
I'm sorry for that.
Did they add fixed assets on that module? We had talked about it. I'll get back with you on
I
that,
think we did.
because it wasn't in the original, and I said really needed to be.
The fixed assets, are you speaking of the items that we have in control of?
Fixed assets are tangible property that can't be
The inventory
moved.
type of, our
Correct.
inventory process that we have going on right now.
Correct.
I apologize. I thought the final conclusion from council was that there wasn't enough fixed assets to have a module for that, but I was going to do my own Excel spreadsheet on all the assets, but we can certainly find out the cost for the fixed assets.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm sorry for that. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Tracy. Town manager, Allison, I know you got something to talk about.
No, actually, I was going to, Tracy covered the Keystone issue that we've been working on, and of course, Joe also covered the Harvest Festival, so Planning Commission held their their public hearing, their first public hearing on the Fairmont rezoning, and that was done on October 18th. That was continued till next month. And the only other thing that I'd like to tell you about is that an application for another rezoning also to R3, also on Route 301 is, has been submitted today. That will be, the request is for, let's see, Fairmont is 88 homes. This one is 72 single family, detached dwellings, and 35 townhouses. And if you have any questions about anything on my report, I'd be happy to answer.
And just to add on these rezonings, it's good that the town manager is giving you a heads up, but it's important, since it will come to council for a public hearing, that you not really commit any position ahead of time, because that would be detrimental to the council as a whole. So you just
Has to go
wanna-
through the whole process of planning and everything.
Yeah, you want to keep an open mind about it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. All right, moving on to the consent agendas. Do I haven't done this in a while, I almost forgot. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agendas as they are?
Make that motion.
I got a motion.
I'll
by
second
Ms.
it.
Gaines. I got a second by Jeff. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, it carries. Unfinished business. I guess we want to, looking for a motion to take the town hall rental rates to a public hearing, or do you want to
Mr.
postpone
Mayor.
this until we get something better?
Mr.
writing.
Mayor, it is important to decide on a rate for the police protection for the event. So if council would be okay with having a work session on December 2nd at 5 o'clock prior to their next meeting,
Okay,
then we can continue that study as well as start talking about the budget and the CIP.
okay, so for 5 o'clock. Do we have a motion to do a work session at our next meeting in December for 5 o'clock to go over the police protection deal for parties? Is that right?
That's correct. We
Okay,
did not
and then-
finish that. This is
okay.
part of the discussion.
And to go over the CIP and start the budget process? I got a
Second.
first by
Second.
Gene, got a second by Jeff. Was that you? Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. I don't know why I'm raising mine. Motion carries. All right, town hall rentals, we need to do a public hearing, I'm being told. Right, Andrea?
Mr. Mayor, that does cover that. So after the next work session where we finalize the
we
amounts that
okay.
that I'll advertise. I'll
So
just
we
put that on.
will do that for January then. We'll go ahead and set that for January, public hearing for town hall rental rates in January. Do I have a motion for that?
We should probably wait till the work session to,
Yeah, I was gonna say after the work session.
just in case we.
Want to? Okay. Figure we cut it, get it ahead of time. All right, moving on, new business. Number 9.
Mr. Mayor, this is discussion on ARPA fund projects, and there are no projects at this time. Well, there's 2 projects in front of you, which are, one is the well and one is for the 20% for EDA, that request. What I'm requesting is that the decision is delayed for those 2 until staff, the Public Works Director seeks out any possible grants for the well, and the Community and Economic Development Director seeks out any possible grants for those types of projects that the EDA is interested in for
Okay.
the Main Street area, commercial area.
All right, so we'll just take number 9 off then, postpone that one. All right,
Can I ask a question about the funds there? I've had people in the community suggest things. So do we have, I mean, before I noticed that we're starting to get some ideas and proposals. Do we have like a protocol of what, do we want people to bring in like quotes of their ideas, or how are we kind of going about that?
We would be happy to set up something on our website for possible projects. There are specific requirements for the funds, but we'd really like to hear from, and I think we've talked about that in meetings before, about trying to get ideas from everyone in the community. So staff will get together and try to figure out a way to get that word out so we can get some ideas back.
Thanks.
any committee meeting? Anybody had any committee meetings they'd like to discuss?
Utilities met. We went over a couple of these projects, like the art projects. Other than that, we just had a quick report from Josh saying everything was running well, and went over the leaf collection starting. Well, it already started, going through December. And go ahead.
We did get the bike lane cleared on West Broadus. VDOT took care of that for us. Hope everybody's pleased.
Gonna come out and read Mark. I hear now. Yeah, better resign. Anybody else have any committee meeting results? Arthur, you anything?
Don't have anything on a committee necessarily, but I would say something on behalf of the fire department in Caroline County. There will be a purchase. It's already been done through the county CIP, but the town will be receiving a new fire truck in 2022, which is needed to replace the current apparatus that we already have. And the town department did sell a prior apparatus that we had over I'd say the last 60 days. So we're looking at other ways to invest that money to better support the town and the county. So I just wanted to make note of that with some supply things. That truck, we were notified by the county, it has a delay of about 90 days, but sometime around June to August, we're looking to receive shipment of it.
Very good. Anybody else? This is December, this is November. We got one more meeting for the end of the year. I've been discussing with Allison, the town manager, and the work sessions before the meetings. I think that's going to become normal protocol come January, instead of having committees. That way, everybody has their inputs, and we're not hearing second hands. And it doesn't disrupt people, day during the week. Once, twice a month now, they got to come in here to town hall for meetings. We can just do it one time. We can all collaborate, from 5 o'clock till 6:30, have half hour break, and back in at 7 regular meeting. Then that way, we're only disturbed at least one time a month. And I think we get a whole lot more done that way. We have a whole lot better discussion, more input. So come January, look for that. Other than that, do I hear a motion to adjourn? So I got first by Gene, second by Arthur. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Meeting adjourned.
Tracy?